So today I decided to play France. Now with France, it's a pretty geopolitically interesting country to play in this game. And if you don't just like get your lands from England like I just did there, it might be a little bit challenging. But England fortunately gave me his land. But as France, something you should probably do is ally Castile. So if you go into a war with England, potentially you could just like maybe win. Because there's also Burgundy to factor in, so you might also just not win, or you just could just lose to England. But generally, if you ally Spain, you should maybe be fine. It really depends. If it's not enough, then ally like a Dutch or like Italian player maybe. Especially if it's like a Provence player or something. But here I was just trying to blitz for the natural French borders. The thing with France is that the diplomacy, it's a bit of a hardball diplomacy to play with France, so it's not to my liking. I kind of like just more soft approaches, but it's okay, I guess. France is just special, not in a good way. But anyway, I'm invading Provence. I'm trying to get France's modern borders, roughly, because I think I just taken the word Roussillon over in like southern Iberia region. But anyway, I try and get Avignon here. I think I succeed, and I go ahead and like plan getting the Rhineland and also invade Brittany. There's like a Cologne player, and I told him not to go into the Rhineland, but he did. So there might be a little bit of a conflict there. It was a pretty chill player from what I could tell. But, if you're France and you want to get the Rhineland quickly, then, well. Anyway, here I go after Belgium and like the southern Netherlands to get like the French natural borders that I was talking about earlier. But Austria has like one province over in France, so there's like a little deal made with Austria a little bit later, I think. But anyway, I invaded the Dutch, and as any regular expansionist French player would do, I consolidate France's natural borders and form a big old army, I think. And I go ahead and just declare war on Prussia. Average French behavior. But I lose. Because this is like a 4v1, so France is not that great right now. Yeah. But don't worry, I don't just get cooked in this game. There's another war. But it's a little bit later. Anyway, I try and besiege some stuff. It doesn't go that well. But I had some fun, so it's alright. I casually misspelled regroup in a chat, which is a pretty interesting choice of words on my part. But around here I'm just trying to mop up the Belgian rebellions. There's not much going on around here, other than Belgium being a bit of a thorn on my side. But it gets secured. Westphalia takes a couple provinces from me, I guess. But overall, France is mostly intact, regardless of the war happening. I allied Portugal here, I think. And the Portuguese wars with Spain look a bit weird. I think he might have just done that so the claiming cost could potentially be lower. But anyway, go ahead and settle Mexico, because I think Mexico would probably give me a lot of money. But Hamburg's an exile player, so it just ends up with me wasting a lot of money. So it was only worth it at the end of the day. I mean, I guess it was worth it for Hamburg. But anyway, I formed a French army back up, because I think it's about time I do some stuff. So then I just send my army to Hanover, and that's basically the entire war. But this isn't like the war I was talking about earlier. This is just Austria getting, yeah. Because I thought I didn't white peace Bavaria. Well, no, that's, let me rephrase that. I white peace Bavaria, and Austria, I don't think they wanted me to do that. So there's a bit of miscommunication, so that just kind of did not end well for Austria. But anyway, I'm doing pretty fine as of now, other than spending like a lot of money in Mexico and it going to waste. Well, for me. For America, it's probably okay. Anyway, the Mamluks are getting invaded here, I think. By the Polish, probably. And I was checking Prussia's allies, I was checking basically the diplomacy map. Basically, this game was a pretty like war-heavy game. I just wanted to have some fun as France. Also, I wanted to get you guys a video, because the car canoe thing got a little bit screwed over. But this is the second war. We go ahead and invade Bavaria. It's a little bit of a back and forth in the start, but I get my army back up, and we won that battle, I think. Yeah. And that leads us to basically reclaiming most of France as of now. Prussia decides to try and send a war treaty, but this is a peacekeeping war, so if I don't do that, I could potentially get like a lot more war score, even if it does look a little bit bad now. As of resieging, Bavaria is mostly kind of intact, but after this fall of Ulm, Bavaria just kind of they just kind of fell off. But anyway, we advance into Prussia now. Bavaria surrendered, and I take Berlin here, I think. I'm not sure if I actually took Berlin. The provinces are a bit squished. But anyway, no, I don't think I took Berlin. But the war is basically almost over here. We basically just stomped on Germany. So, successful French win. Which is pretty natural considering I was fighting Prussia, Bavaria, Hanover, Westphalia at one point, and Poland. But I did have some allies, so shout out to Naples, Portugal, and England. Anyway, I was checking out if I could just invade Genoa, because Napoleonic borders. But I decided to just, like, not do that because it costs too much. Anyway, to take modern French borders, to take one province called Roussillon, that I mentioned earlier, and that's basically the entire run. Just looked around the map a little bit, and that's about it.